Welcome back, Wastelanders, and a big hello to all you from the Silent Hill realm. This is now the behind-the-scenes look at how I made my Silent Hill settlement. We are at Country Crossings. I spent a lot of time putting this in. I even went in and looked at the video game to try and get everything more or less as accurate as possible. As you can see, we are starting here at the diner. This takes place after the crash, and he meets those little bad dudes in the alleyway and wakes up with a cop. I didn't have a cop for my little playthrough that I did, but you know, I tried to get this as accurate as I possibly could. All the smoke effects and the falling ash is not a mod. That was all done in post-production, as was all the music, sound effects, so on and so forth. That was stuff that I added in afterwards. I do know of the existence of the Silent Hill mod, but again, this is not a mod. This is a settlement build, a labor of love. It's a game I grew up with, absolutely loved, and to this day still am fascinated by. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on here. So as you can see, this is the diner where I started my playthrough. I tried to make it as more or less accurate as I possibly could. You know, I can only do with what I could with what resources were provided me from the game and from different mods. As you can see now, you can actually see what the neighborhood really looks like. We're using a mod here for the street textures and the sidewalk textures. Threw in some vehicles, threw in some pre-made buildings, as well as some ones that I put together myself. This is in order to create the main neighborhood of Silent Hill. Now, this is a very condensed version. I just did not have the space to try to recreate the entire thing, as well as the section down by the ocean, the docks, and all that kind of stuff. So I just mainly stuck to, as you saw in the video, the neighborhood condensed version of it, as well as trying to faithfully reproduce both the normal school and the dark side school. And hey, this guy's back alive. How about that? Good for him. So we have the church here where he meets, what's her name? Escapes me at the moment. But yeah, this is where he has one of his first encounters with somebody other than the police officer. I did throw in little hints here, one of which I forgot to find when we got further into the regular school. I put some handprints here, as well as some handprints and whatnot by one of the desks in one of the regular schools, but you know, whatever. And over here we have the doghouse. I reproduced the little dragging blood scene by the doghouse that's in the game. How I did that, when I get to underneath the neighborhood, I will try to remember to point that out so you can see how some of this stuff was done. The insides of the houses, there's nothing to them. I made just walls, roofs, etc., just to try and make them look like they were actual houses without having to go in and do decorating or any kind of stuff, because you don't really see any of the insides of any of the houses in the games. Just like these are fake garages, you lift the doors up and nothing there. Used USO to create some NPCs, this guy and all the other guys that you saw in the game. My little imaginary game, do not attack. So this is the main neighborhood of Silent Hill. This was my condensed version of it. Tried to, again, get as accurate as I possibly could. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the school. As you can see, you got a big giant church organ sticking up through the roof. This was the only way I could create a piano for the music room. So just kind of used the Place Anywhere tool to glitch that sucker up in there. And so here's the inside of the school. We have over here the infirmary, a couple of beds and some stocked shelves with meds and whatnot. Classrooms are pretty basic. You got the basement down here as well. Put our little makeshift generators, and it looks like everybody's back to life. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know that that would happen. So anyway, initially when I was creating this, I had the two schools connecting through a tunnel here. But then once I started looking at an actual playthrough, I remembered that you have to go through the clock tower in order to get from one school to the other. So yeah, basic school rooms, classrooms, I should say. But this was the good school, the light school, whatever you want to call it. And in a few moments we'll head on over to the dark school. And again, this is all just using mostly basic building techniques with just some texture packages, the floors, the walls, so on and so forth. These are actually barn walls with a brick texture. Just search like barn textures and you'll find that kind of stuff. I will have all the mods listed below. I also used one whose name escapes me at the moment to make it really, really dark. I'll put that in the description as well so that you can tell which one it is in case you want to try to make it so that it gets really, really dark at night. And so yeah, this is the good clean school. In a moment we're gonna head out to the courtyard so that we can head on over to the bad school, to the dark. Few places I did forget to put a couple bad guys. There were supposed to be a few in here, but I completely forgotten about it. So not perfect, but it was fun. Like I said, this was a labor of love to build this and to put it all together for you guys. I know you've been anxiously awaiting its arrival, and now it's finally here, and you guys can finally see all the work that I put into this. So let's go ahead and get a really good look at the courtyard here. This is one of the first things I really did with the school. Is I just did a basic layout of the the walls surrounding the courtyard and put all this together. Again, I tried to make it as accurate as possible. To build the clock, I just stacked a couple of stone walls here. These are actually concrete walls with a stone texture, and then used the Place Anywhere tool to kind of glitch that guy right up into there. And so now we have the tunnel. So this is the tunnel that links one school to the other school. Obviously I can't put ladders and I didn't want to put stairs, so I just kind of used my little jumping ability to get myself in and out just like that. One thing too, now we get to see what's going on here. The two schools are basically back to back like this. And right down there is the connecting tunnel. We will be heading underneath in a little bit to take a look at it. But one of the things I've forgotten to do was come up here. There was access to the roof. There's nothing to do up here because I can't recreate the whole scene with the ball and all that kind of stuff for either school. But I did come up here for the second part of this one just to show the little water tower and so on and so forth. Here you go. Here's the back side of the clock. You can see I did the same thing on both sides, glitched them into there. And let's see. So in here, that's one of the benefits of that really cool mod that allows it to be very dark at night, is that this looks like an endless tunnel, but it's really not. And as you can see here, this is Country Crossing, and we are basically floating on top of it in order to create this entire place. I started basically right over around here, started building this and worked my way forward to get most of that all set up so that I can start making the school and whatnot. The cages and the dead bodies, I believe that all came from USO. This is all Raider decorations. Came in very handy to put all the bodies that are basically stuck up against all the walls and whatnot. Hey, that guy stayed dead. Cool. Gates, these are supposed to be non-passable, but because I'm not actually playing the game, I had to walk through on a few instances. Down here again we see those handprints, some more of those dead bodies, and cages, fences. This is probably the only electricity in the entire build because I wanted this to stay as dark as possible when building it. But yeah, there you go. This is basically all of Silent Hill here. I couldn't put everything in the game. I tried to put as much as I possibly could just to appease everybody, and again, like I said, it's one of my favorite games, so I tried to be as accurate as possible to keep things looking as good as I possibly could and as menacing as I possibly could for the Dark School here. This is that room where the guy encounters the spinning fan blades. Obviously I can't make it spin faster, but you know, same idea. So let's go ahead and head outside, and I will show you how I did some of the blood stuff, if I can find the exact spot, for over by the doghouse, and let's see if we can actually see what it looks like from the underside here. But yeah, this was so much fun to build. I spent a lot of time really with it, putting it all together. There we go. You can actually see these are super mutant displays, decorative stuff that you can get from like USO and whatnot, and I just used the Place Anywhere tool to kind of stick them down through the ground so that all you'd see is just a little bit visible. And this guy was supposed to be in part of it for one of those creatures for me to kill, but because it's not a real ground floor, everything just kind of glitched, and I had so much stuff like actually falling through the grounds. There were supposed to be so many more feral ghouls and whatnot to kill, but it didn't end up working out as good as I'd hoped. But again, I loved it. It was one of those things that I just had to do once I got it in my head, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this this whole build. And I got some new stuff coming. I might still be doing a walkthrough. I haven't fully decided on that part yet. Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys want to see. Again, I have all the Fallout games, so I can do it for one of them, all of them, whatever. But thanks again for watching, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. And let's see if we can take this guy out. And I promise no real dogs were harmed in the making of this film. Anyway, thanks again guys for watching, and don't get irradiated.